Get ready. The next 3 days, July 28th, 29th and 30th, are not ordinary. They hold the power to reshape your entire direction. If you're unprepared, the impact will be felt deeply. These aren't just dates on a calendar. They are spiritually charged, alive, responsive, and transformative. You're stepping into a divine sequence where every word you speak, every decision you postpone, and every inner nudge you follow or suppress is being recorded. This is not a time to drift. It's a time to be awake, intentional, and aligned. This isn't just energy. It's a forked road, and it only opens once. You're either about to be thrown forward like a slingshot into what you were built for, or you're getting sealed back into a cycle you swore you were done with. There's no middle ground anymore. The veil's thin, the choice is loud, and you only get 72 hours to make it. These aren't reflection days, they're ignition days. Here's what they're not telling you. You will not have time to process in August. You will not have time to figure it out. This exact 3-day stretch is your only alignment checkpoint before the terrain changes completely. Think of these days as a kind of spiritual breath, not calm but compressed, like the hush before a rocket launch. And once that August engine lights, everything accelerates. You won't have time to fix the cracks. Then you either stabilize now or you sprint lopsided later. And most people won't know why they suddenly feel like they're running uphill barefoot. But the ones who understand what's really happening in these 3 days, they're going to look like they already knew what August was bringing. Something will look like relief, but it's a decoy. July 28th is a setup, not in a vague symbolic way, in a literal spiritual pressure point kind of way. You might be handed something that looks like comfort. Maybe it's a text from someone you swore you were done with. Maybe it's a sudden opportunity that seems perfectly timed. Maybe it's a sense of peace that rolls in so quickly it doesn't even make sense. But here's the truth. If it looks like instant resolution, it's probably repetition. This day isn't about ease. It's about discernment. And the most dangerous trap won't be something obvious. It will be something that mimics what you've been asking for, just enough to make you say yes without thinking. It's a bait loop. Something that feels good now could cost you everything you've been building. You're likely to face a choice that feels small on the surface, but carries enormous energetic weight. And the question you must ask yourself is this: would this even be showing up if I hadn't already outgrown it? If it wouldn't, it's not alignment. It's regression, wearing a new mask. July 28th is not a reward. It's a filter. Pass it and you move forward. Fall for it and you're right back where you started. But thinking you've moved on, that's the real trap. Your energy field might go quiet, heavy or blank, but this is not emotional collapse. It's the slingshot effect. July 29th doesn't come to shake the ground. It comes to mute it. You'll feel it not through chaos or high-frequency bursts, but through what feels like an energetic void. The momentum from the past few days will seem to vanish. The urgency will fade. Your mind may even start questioning if any of it was real. It's not burnout. It's not collapse, but it will feel like it. This is where people get scared, because we've been conditioned to believe silence equals failure. But this kind of silence, it's sacred compression. Your system might feel sluggish. You might sense a weird pressure behind your eyes or in your chest. There may be an internal buzzing, but without the motivation to do anything about it. That's not depression. That's the charge collecting, the pullback of the bowstring before it releases. Your body isn't shutting down. It's holding a charge bigger than your nervous system has ever had to carry. The slingshot effect isn't metaphorical. It's physiological and emotional and deeply spiritual. You're not stuck. You're paused at maximum tension. And in this state, the ego gets nervous. It wants to move, to fix, to control the narrative. But the soul knows this stillness is a setup for speed, for propulsion, for burst. If you can sit in the stillness without labeling it as wrong, you'll survive the transformation that's coming. July 29th will test whether you can handle being in between, not where you were, not yet where you're going. It's liminal space. It's the space where initiates are left alone with their own inner echo. And it's uncomfortable for a reason, because comfort would anchor you to the old pace. You're not being punished. You're being pressurized. And that pressure will do one of two things. Either it'll make you collapse back into distraction, or it'll compress you into alignment so tight, the only thing left to do is break forward. So don't label it. Don't try to solve it. Don't medicate the void. Just let it build. The ignition isn't late. It's loading. Some of you will want to share what you're feeling, but your gut will tell you not to. There will come a moment, maybe on the 29th, maybe it's already stirring, where something clicks inside you. A shift, a realization, an energy you can't explain. And your first instinct might be to call someone to say, I think something's happening. I feel different. I don't know why, but something will stop you. And it won't be fear. It won't be insecurity. It won't even be confusion. It'll be precision, protection, your higher self pulling rank. Because this moment, whatever it is for you, is fragile. It hasn't fully anchored yet. And until it does, your system wants it sealed. Some revelations aren't meant to be shared immediately because they're still becoming. This is not suppression. This is encryption. When you keep quiet about what's forming within you, you're not hiding from the world. You're preserving signal strength. You're letting the code write itself without interference. Think about it. The second we name something, we limit it. We wrap words around it that don't always fit. And sometimes when you speak too soon, you accidentally water it down just to make it make sense to someone else. But this shift, it's not for someone else. It's for you. Your silence is not fear. It's spiritual encryption. Let it cook. Let it hum in your system without explaining it. Let it be strange, unexplained, mysterious, even to you. Because some of the deepest truths arrive in silence, and they require silence to stay intact. This isn't a time to overshare. It's a time to guard the spark. Talk too soon, and you might distort it. Wait just a little longer, and you might actually become it. Expect to be offered something harmless that quietly costs you your clarity. Not all traps are obvious. Some wear soft edges. Some arrive with a smile. Over the next 72 hours, expect something to show up that looks just right at first. Maybe it's a reconnection that feels nostalgic. Maybe it's a job offer or proposal that lands in your lap right when you felt most uncertain. Maybe it's just a simple favor, a chance to help, a moment that feels harmless but carries energetic hooks you don't see immediately. This is not about paranoia. This is about discernment. These 3 days are spiritually reactive. That means what appears around you isn't random. It's reflecting your shifting frequency in real time. And sometimes when you're ascending, life throws out one last lifeline to the old you, just to see if you'll take it. If it shows up smooth, familiar, and perfectly timed, pause before saying yes. It might be a comfort blanket sewn from your past alignment. Watch for offerings that try to win your time, energy, or attention without earning it. It could be a gift, a conversation, an apology that sounds perfect, but something in your stomach twists just a bit. or a person who hasn't thought about you in months, suddenly remembering you just because. These are not coincidences, these are baits, spiritual loyalty tests dressed in routine. What's being measured here is not your kindness, it's your clarity. And that's what makes it dangerous. Because you might say yes out of habit, out of empathy, out of guilt. But if you do, you may find yourself tethered again to energy that no longer fits. What looks like comfort today may cost you movement tomorrow. So if something comes to you that feels oddly convenient, hesitate. Don't rush to accept it. Don't reject it either. Just listen. If it belongs, it will wait. If it doesn't, it will wither when you pause. You are not being asked to be cruel. You are being asked to be clean. Not all energy is owed your response. Not all invitations are blessings, and sometimes the most sacred yes is the one you never speak. A specific name or face will randomly pop in. They just tuned into you. You're going to feel it. It might be subtle, like a memory with no emotional trigger. It might be a name that appears in your mind mid-task. You'll smell something, hear a phrase, or see a reference that feels too strange to be chance. And in that moment, you'll wonder why now, why them, because they just tuned into you. This isn't about twin flames or karmic fantasy. This is real energetic activity. There are chords, old and new, that still hum beneath the surface of your field, and when you shift, they respond. These 3 days you're becoming louder on a vibrational level, brighter, sharper. Even people who don't know why, they'll feel it. You are broadcasting, and certain frequencies are reaching back. Sometimes they don't even realize it consciously, but they'll think of you. They'll dream of you. They'll randomly click on something that reminds them of your voice, your face, your laugh. And for you, it'll be a passing moment that lands like a ping. You'll know it's not nostalgia. You'll know it's live. So what do? Nothing. You're not being called to respond. You're not being summoned back. You're just being notified. Like a ripple in the field, a reminder that you were once linked and the link remembers. Not every energetic nudge is a call to action. Some are just echoes clearing the channel. You don't have to text them. You don't have to find meaning in the moment. Just notice. Feel the tether light up and observe how fast it fades when you don't grab it. This is part of the clearing. As you realign, old lines of contact flicker, not to trap you, but to test your stability. Are you moving forward because you're angry, or because you've truly outgrown the echo? Only one answer seals the shift, and this time it's yours alone. This window is rigged to tempt you back into who you were. This part is going to sting for some, because just when you're gaining momentum, just when you've started pulling ahead, something from the past will come tapping on your shoulder. It might be a message, a call, a coincidence so perfectly placed, it feels like a sign. It's not a glitch. It's a test. People don't resurface during energetic gateways by accident. They come because something in your frequency is changing, and that change sends a signal out. To some, that signal reads like a goodbye they didn't expect. To others, it feels like an opportunity to reattach. But not everyone who remembers you is meant to still have access to you. This is not a moment of reunion, it's a moment of release. Old friends, exes, family members who always show up just when you're doing better, even those who meant well, who never hurt you, might show up now. But here's the truth. A person can be good to you and still wrong for your next season. And in this window, the most dangerous temptations aren't the obviously toxic ones. They're the ones that feel comfortable, familiar, safe. But you didn't do all this work just to decorate your old cage with new curtains. These 3 days are spiritually rigged, not in a cruel way, but in a clarifying one. You'll be given opportunities to choose your past or your path, to choose comfort or calling, to revisit old wounds masked as nostalgia, or to walk on alone, knowing silence is better than being surrounded by noise that doesn't resonate anymore. You're not being asked to reject them. You're being asked to remember who you are without them. You don't need to argue. You don't need to explain. This is not the time to fix anything. What wants to stay will stay aligned. What falls away, let it. If you keep trying to carry them, you'll only slow down what was already trying to arrive. Some bridges don't need burning. They just need to be left behind. What you perceive during these days says more about you than the world. Pay attention to how the world feels around you in this window. Not what's actually happening, but how your system is interpreting it. Because here's the secret no one tells you: these aren't just ordinary environmental sensations. They're spiritual diagnostics, real-time emotional readouts, mirrors, and right now, they're getting turned all the way up. Does the world feel loud, like everything is moving too fast, too chaotic, like even small things are overwhelming? That's not the universe being noisy. That's your internal system sending a flare. You've been avoiding stillness. Something wants to be felt, heard, processed, and you've been running from it. So now the external world is matching the static you've buried. When you avoid your own thoughts, life gets louder to compete. And if it feels too quiet, like nothing's moving, like it's dull or empty, like time is crawling, that's not stagnation, that's spiritual inertia. You're being asked to move in a direction you've been avoiding. You're waiting for a sign that already came. This isn't stillness, it's hesitation. And the longer you wait, the more empty things will feel, not because you're broken, but because momentum is now a requirement. These 3 days are amplifiers. They'll echo your frequency back to you, louder, deeper, more intensely than before. If you're overwhelmed, you need alignment. If you're numb, you need ignition. Your reaction to the world right now is a clue, not a punishment. This is not about fixing your mood. It's not about chasing a better vibe. It's about noticing what's trying to speak beneath the noise or the silence. So don't just survive the volume or curse the quiet. Ask what it's trying to show you. Ask what you've been avoiding. Ask where you've been hesitating to go. The world isn't being too much. The atmosphere isn't malfunctioning. It's you finally syncing with yourself after months of distortion. And what happens next depends on whether you listen. Silence is the gatekeeper of revelation in these 3 days. Here's where it gets tricky. These next hours, especially July 30th, will press on every part of you that still craves validation. You'll feel the temptation to explain yourself, to say why you pulled away, to justify why you're choosing a different path, to respond to the confusion or criticism around you. But this moment isn't about defending your light. It's about deepening it. July 30th is not the time to speak your truth. It's the time to hold it intact, unbothered, undiluted. You're not here to be understood right now. You're here to understand yourself more than ever. And the trap, it'll look noble. Someone might say something passive-aggressive. Someone might question your choices. Someone might open a door just enough to make you think, maybe I should say something. Maybe this is the moment to make it clear. But it's not. This isn't a time for noise. It's a time for clarity through contrast. And clarity doesn't always require confrontation. Sometimes it requires witnessing what's out of alignment without touching it. Power during these 3 days doesn't come from the words you speak. It comes from the energy you withhold. When you feel the heat rise and choose not to react. When you feel the urge to explain and instead breathe and observe. When you notice chaos around you and still don't chase control, you'll be unlocking something ancient, a part of you that knows the difference between sound and signal. This is one of the hardest tests for chosen ones, to know you're right, to feel the vision forming, and still stay silent. Not forever, but for now, because this stretch isn't about being heard. It's about being ready. Let silence be your ally. It's not emptiness, it's structure, it's weight, it's readiness. You can either align with destiny or argue with fate, but both have consequences. This isn't just another spiritual window, another end-of-month reset, or a pretty cluster of energetic days with symbolic meaning. This is a launch point, and what you do within it is going to echo long past August. We are talking about ripple effects that will reach all the way into 2026. Every yes, every no, every silent decision you think no one sees, it's all being recorded in your field. And it's all being used as material for the timeline you're either building or breaking. These aren't just days, they're coordinates. July 28th, 29th, and 30th are mapped points in your personal cycle. Whatever you're carrying right now, whatever you're entertaining, whatever you're tolerating, amplifying, or rejecting, this is when it locks in. And you'll start to notice, come early 2026, that the major life situations you're navigating then can be traced back to this exact window. The job you took or didn't, the relationship you finally ended, the instinct you followed or ignored, the identity you stepped into or the one you abandoned to keep others comfortable. But here's the twist. These 3 days, they're not the finish line. They're the warm-up. They are the final calibration before July 31st, the closing seal, the moment where everything gets finalized, filed, and energetically shipped out to your future. Think of the 31st, not as the end of the month, but as a spiritual send-off. And what you do leading up to it is what determines the direction of that momentum. The future isn't waiting, it's listening. This is a time where your actions speak louder than your intentions. You don't need a vision board or a manifestation journal right now. You need alignment with what you say you want and what you're actually doing. Because what you do between the 28th and the 30th is not just casual. It is energetic architecture. And the worst thing you can do in this window is sleepwalk through it, to treat it like just another weekend. Because whether you're ready or not, this stretch is deciding what echoes and what ends. This is the moment to make clean cuts, to initiate what you've delayed, to finally act like your future is watching, because it is. Don't underestimate how sensitive this window is. The universe isn't neutral right now. It's responsive. It's watching your hands, not your hopes. So ask yourself honestly, what am I still dragging into my tomorrow that has no business being there? Who am I still trying to prove myself to? What am I tolerating because I think I have time to fix it later? You don't. This is not a trial run. This is not a dress rehearsal. The timelines are real and they're moving. This is the turning point. You either rise to the calling or you bear the weight of what follows. Remember, when the 31st arrives, the gate closes. These 3 days are not ordinary. They're the final trial, the spiritual reckoning, the last inhale before the transformation. Choose with awareness. Because whatever crosses that threshold will not stay the same. It will expand. If you're still here, thank you for your presence. If this message resonated, consider subscribing. Your support truly means a lot. Share your reflections in the comments below,
And until next time, take care and stay aligned.